I'm always super hesitant to make these kind of videos because I know they don't perform as well, and I know a lot of people aren't going to sit through the whole thing. But it's just what I wanted to make today. It's just a little commentary, and I think it's absolutely part of like humanizing the grind. Is talking about how it's actually going, and not just, I don't know, me analyzing footage for the 5th day in a row. Even though that's what I do a lot, I feel like I just want to talk today. First thing you probably notice is I'm playing Manon, and this is not a character crisis video, okay? I have to say that because there's one guy who constantly shames me every time I post a video, even mentioning my choice of character. He will only comment on those videos. There's not one of those times. It's just me having a little bit of fun, figuring things out, okay? Relax. Anyways, the grind itself is going okay. I think we always want to progress faster than we are. Like, we always want more. It happens a lot in the game. It happens a lot on YouTube. Like, even when I have a phenomenal video, it gets 10,000 views. I'm like, how do I get it to 100,000? Or how, like, I always want more. And it happens in the game a lot too, especially when there's so many people on the game and playing that I know, and they're so much like further ahead of me. I guess they did better in their placements, or they're just better players than me right now. It just kind of sometimes fuels me and sometimes depresses me. But I try to suppress those feelings because I feel like it just makes you play completely different. Like, it also halts your progress too if you start trying to play to win a lot more. I noticed that I stopped doing all those cool little drive rush combos I had started learning, and I stopped doing like correct punishes because I didn't want to risk dropping them and stuff like that. I just stopped trying new things, but I'm glad I like realized it quickly. Or like, how many days into the game? Like 2 weeks into the game, I realized it so I can fix it, because that's something that took me so long to realize in 5. I guess sometimes you do notice yourself falling back into bad habits. But you know what I'm not used to from Street Fighter 5? Playing a grappler, because I've been playing a lot of Manon. I play Cammy like kind of on the side still and stuff, because when I this sounds really fucked up, but when I want to win, I will play Cammy. Just got so much experience playing her in 5, and it translates really well to 6. So I will get on that character just to blow off steam sometimes. But ultimately, I just find a lot of joy in learning a new archetype and like a new character. And part of that is learning how to play a grappler playstyle, which is so foreign to me. I'd like to think I have the patience to play a grappler most of the time, until I run into like maybe JP. I think the other zoners, I can get through it. But when I play against JP, he brings out something fucking primal in me, bro. Like, I will jump a fireball and then a spike will come out and I'll get knocked back down, or he'll, I don't know, he'll back throw me or hit me with the heavy spike thing, the thing where he moves the cane and then the spikes come out and it throws you across the screen. If he does any of the shit that resets me full screen, I immediately get so demoralized that I just want to spin my way back in. Sometimes it just feels so, you just feel so betrayed whenever you, I don't know, like walk and block your way in against a Shoto, like Ken maybe, throwing a bunch of fireballs, and then he back throws you and you go flying to the other side of the screen, and you're like, fuck, I just worked so hard to close all that space and I didn't even get to do anything. It's a strange feeling. I don't know if I find the character fun because the character is actually fun, or if I just find the struggle rewarding, you know? I felt that way a lot about Cammy in 5, was like the character wasn't the greatest at the end, and it was very punishing. Like, she was a glass cannon. I'd like to call her the glass cannon without the cannon, because she didn't do too much damage at the end of the game. But I continued to play her because when things did work out, it just felt super rewarding. And I don't know if I'm like addicted to that feeling and I want to keep struggling against certain matchups and things like that when I could just, you know, pick Cammy and it can kind of just win. It's strange. It's like when people say they're addicted to stress. Maybe I'm addicted to stress. Or it's like that feeling you get when you're tilted. Like when you're queuing up and you lose and you're like, damn, I can play better, so I'm going to queue back up again. I know I can do better. And then you lose and then you keep queuing back up because you know you can play better. It's like you can't end on a loss, but that's like the whole character for me sometimes. It's like sometimes I pick characters and play them out of spite almost. And I kind of caught myself yesterday thinking about that and saying, like, I wanted to be very honest with myself if that's what's happening again so I could stop it in its tracks. So what I did was start looking up a bunch of tech videos for both of the characters that I play and saying, okay, which one would I sit down and actually learn? That's something you have to be brutally honest with yourself about. As you look at these tech videos and you're like, is this an option I would genuinely one, learn, sit down and learn, and two, remember to use. And does it look fun to use? Because that's like a big problem for me is I will play a character and look at the tech and be like, I'll never use that, so I'm not going to learn it, or I don't want to play like that. That's what it is. I'll say I don't want to play like that, so I'm not going to. And I did that a lot with Cammy in 5 because she has like a lot of air approaches and stuff, but I like to play kind of grounded footsies a little bit more. And she just happens to be pretty decent at that too. But ultimately, I just found more fun stuff that I was labbing with Manon that made me get on the game. You know, at the end of the day, that's what the character does for you, is it makes you want to get on the game. But this is not a character crisis video, okay? Don't shame me. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, next thing on the chopping block, I am at 4 stars platinum now. Big man on campus. I got 16,600 points, I think, almost exactly, because I just ranked up. And I think now, at this point, I'm starting to have to learn a little bit more about matchups, because even if the other person doesn't understand the strengths of their character, the tools that they use inherently have some strengths against my character, right? Like, for example, if you're playing, I don't know, Dalsum, of course you're going to press his big old lengthy buttons, and it's up to me to like figure out how to get around those. Same thing with Kimberly. She doesn't have too many good pokes in neutral, but all of her like neutral skip moves, you have to know how to punish. You have to know how to get around. Same thing with Blanca Ball too. Blanca Ball and Honda's Headbutt. Those are options that you have to know how to use, but they... you know, the person playing them doesn't necessarily need to know the strength. It's just a core part of the other character's kit. You can't really play the character without using them. Just some personal bad matchups I need to work on. Especially Lily. That's a strange one. But Lily's like very rudimentary game plan of getting the stock, then going at you and like making you 50-50 whether she's going to command grab or frame trap. That shit fucks with my brain, dude. I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong, because I always either guess wrong or I'm missing something. Ken also is becoming a thorn on my side. That character seems very solid. He has like a lot of ways in if he wants to get in. He has good pokes. He has, I think he has the dragon kick. He has crazy kicks. He has, I don't know. He just has like a lot of options that you need to keep up with, as well as having good footsies. But so far, I feel like the rank zone of platinum is a hurdle that you have to overcome before you can be good. Because everybody in platinum, it was just like this in 5 as well, is good at their gimmick. There's a lot of people who are very good at one option and know how to use it very well. And if you can't beat that option or that one strategy they have, you will not make it through platinum. And I, in Street Fighter 5, had a real problem with that. You know, I couldn't stop the option, the one option they had, the gimmick, or I couldn't stop the really wild play. And that's what you find a lot of in the platinum ring. So, you know, as much as I might hate it or as much as I might get frustrated, I know it's like good for me. It's like good practice. That's what I have to say to cope. Maybe if I keep saying it over and over again, I'll believe it more and more. But I do feel like I'm getting better at the end of every session. Even if I'm completely super angry the entire time, or by the end I'm super angry or happy or whatever emotion I'm feeling by the end, after I cool off, I always have something to write down in my little notebook that I did good and that I can work on next time I play. I just feel like if I'm going to play every single day, I can't let myself get as angry as I do sometimes, or I can't end days as angry as I do sometimes, because if I know I'm going to get on tomorrow anyways, there's no sense in being angry about today, I guess, because tomorrow could always be better. And I have a real problem letting go of things I've realized lately. So that's what I'm trying to work on, kind of outside of the game. I think what I told myself is you can feel some way, you can feel angry, upset, or happy or whatever before the game and after the game, but during the game you can't have these emotional responses that you have, and you have to just focus, because when you start getting emotional like that, it messes with my focus so much to the point where I can't think. So it really impedes me a lot more than I've ever realized. But that's a story for another time. If you made it this far in the video, please leave me a comment and let me know. I'll put a little heart on it. I appreciate you sitting through these kind of rambly commentary style videos. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you again very soon.